Welcome to the Essential Skills for Humaning podcast, where we explore the fundamental abilities and insights that make us better humans. Here's your host, Christina Eanes.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Essential Skills for Humaning. I'm your host, Christina Eanes, and founder of Eanes Training. I'm a former FBI violent crime analyst and senior manager, turned workforce development expert, author, and advocate for all things that help us human better. Today, we're driving into a topic that might make you rethink how you interact with others at work. Well, and maybe even at home. It's about the difference between being nice and being kind. Now, you might be thinking, wait, aren't those the same thing? Well, not exactly. And understanding the difference can completely change the way you lead, collaborate, and build relationships. Let's start here. Many of us were raised with the idea that we should be nice, play nice with others, be a nice person. And in theory, there's nothing wrong with niceness. It's polite, it's pleasant, it keeps the peace. But here's the thing. Niceness often focuses on short-term comfort, while kindness focuses on long-term benefit. Niceness is about avoiding friction now. Kindness is about helping someone grow, even if it causes a little friction in the moment. And in the workplace, especially in leadership or teamwork, that difference matters a lot. So what does niceness look like? Let's break this down with some real-life examples. Nodding along in a meeting when you disagree because you don't want to rock the boat. Telling a teammate, good job, when their work actually needs improvement, just to keep the conversation comfortable. Avoiding feedback altogether because you don't want to upset someone. It's not that niceness is bad, it's just incomplete. Because here's the kicker. If we only ever operate from a place of niceness, we may actually be holding people back. Imagine a new hire who keeps making the same small but noticeable mistake in reports. You don't want to embarrass them, so you let it slide. That's nice, right? They feel comfortable. But in the long run, that mistake keeps happening. Maybe it starts affecting the team's credibility or efficiency. You've spared up them a moment of discomfort, but you've set them up for a bigger issue later. Kindness is different. Kindness says, I care enough to be honest, even if it's uncomfortable. In that same scenario, kindness means pulling the new hire aside and saying, hey, I noticed a small error in your reports that's been happening consistently. Let's go over how to fix it. I want to make sure you're set up for success. You're giving them the truth, but you're delivering it with support. You're focusing on their long-term growth. So kindness might mean giving candid feedback instead of sugarcoating, coaching someone to improve a skill rather than silently fixing their mistakes for them, saying no to something you know isn't in their best interest, even if they want it. We often default to niceness because it feels easier in the moment. Why? Because niceness is safe. It doesn't require us to deal with discomfort. It doesn't risk upsetting someone. It lets us feel like we're being a good person without the emotional labor of a tough conversation. But when we choose niceness over kindness repeatedly, it erodes trust over time. People can sense when we're holding back. They might even begin to doubt our sincerity. Here's the truth. People don't always like to hear feedback in the moment, but they respect it when they know it's coming from a place of genuine care. This is especially important if you're a leader. Leaders who are only nice tend to avoid holding people accountable. The result? Underperformance goes unaddressed, high performers feel frustrated, and the culture starts to slide. Leaders who are kind? They address issues early. They help people course correct. They celebrate wins genuinely, and they offer developmental feedback without hesitation. because they see it as a part of their responsibility to help their team members grow. Kind leaders say things like, I noticed your last presentation didn't land the way you wanted. Let's go over some ways to make it more impactful next time. Or, I appreciate your enthusiasm, but I need you to slow down and make sure we're aligned before moving forward. These conversations might be a little uncomfortable, but they're rooted in care and respect. So how do we actually deliver kindness in the form of candid feedback? Here's a framework I love and we use in our classes, the SBI model. Situation, behavior, impact. The situation is very specific about when and where the behavior occurred, because sometimes behavior in some situations is appropriate and others it's not. So it's important to be clear on that. Think of that as the context. The behavior, that's where we're describing the behavior, not the person. And then the impact. This is the effect that it had. Think of this as the why they need to change this behavior. Here's an example. In yesterday's meeting, that's the situation, you interrupted a few of your colleagues before they finished speaking. There's a behavior. It seemed to shut down the conversation and we didn't get to hear everyone's perspective. Impact. Then follow up with curiosity. What was going on for you in that moment? How can we make sure everyone's ideas get heard next time? This keeps the conversation focused on improvement, not blame. Okay. When you operate from kindness rather than niceness, several things happen. People trust you more. They know you'll be honest with them. You create a culture where feedback is normal, not scary, and growth accelerates for individuals, teams, and the organization as a whole. It's a shift from I'll keep you comfortable to I'll help you grow. I want you to think about a recent situation where you chose niceness over kindness. Maybe it was avoiding a conversation you knew you needed to have. Maybe it was sugarcoating feedback. Ask yourself, what stopped me from being kind in that moment? What could I have said or done differently? How might that person have benefited if I'd been honest? This isn't about guilt. It's about building awareness so you can make different choices going forward. Here are some quick steps you can take to bring more kindness and less niceness into your work. First, check your motive. Are you avoiding discomfort for you or protecting growth for them? Second, assume positive intent. Deliver feedback as if you believe in their potential, because you do. Third, be specific. General comments do not help people improve. Fourth, pair feedback with support. Don't just point out what's wrong, help them figure out what's next. And fifth, normalize feedback. Give it regularly, both positive and constructive, so it's part of the culture, not a rare event. All right, let's wrap it up. Kindness isn't about making everyone happy in the moment. It's about caring enough to help them become better, even if that means having a tough conversation today. So the next time you hesitate to speak up because you want to be quote unquote nice, pause and ask yourself, am I choosing comfort over kindness? Choose kindness every time. Thank you for joining me today on Essential Skills for Humaning. And as always, keep practicing those essential skills because the world needs more humans who lead with both compassion and courage.
Thank you for tuning in to the Essential Skills for Humaning podcast. We hope you've gained valuable insights to enhance your journey as a human being. Remember, practice makes progress. Keep honing those essential skills, and until next time, keep being the best version of yourself. For more resources, visit eanestraining.com.